we take a look at how Tzu Chi volunteers prepare for the third 2015 Overseas Volunteers Training Camp in Taichung. Volunteers of the second 2015 Overseas Volunteers Training Camp return to the Jing Si Abode to stay in touch with their Tzu Chi roots. Welcome to DaAi Headlines. I'm Helen Liao. Thank you for joining us. As the third session of Overseas Volunteers Training kicked off, we meet a few volunteers from different parts of the world and hear what they have taken away from this camp in Taichung, Taiwan.
Here in Taichung, the Overseas Volunteers Training includes learning Tzu Chi's etiquettes. While during the afternoon lessons, participants are eager to gain some dharma.
心情很法喜。
A volunteer from Malaysia, Ye Yongchun, is a Christian, but he does not let his religious belief hinder him from joining the Buddhist charity.
It doesn't matter what religion you believe in, the goal to help others remains the same. Actually, we don't need to be too closed off in our religious belief. As long as we are alive, we should strive to help one another.
Also doing their part to help others is this husband and wife pair. As an immigrant in Canada and unfamiliar with her new life, Wu Shoushu overcame her shyness in order to recruit more people to join her in doing good deeds.
I faced it with courage and try not to be shy. When I approach a stranger, I'll put on my smile and say hello.
Wu's husband was moved to join his wife in doing Tzu Chi.
One must remember one's initial aspirations and continue to give selflessly to humanity.
As part of their self-cultivation, these overseas volunteers return to Taiwan to receive their certification and also recharge their spiritual batteries needed to continue walking the Tzu Chi path in the future. On the second day of the Overseas Volunteers Training in Taichung, while African volunteers perform a sign language song on stage, participants in the audience join in down below. The African volunteers also shared with everyone the song they sing while conducting Tzu Chi's charity work back home, which symbolizes Master Cheng Yen's wisdom spreading to all corners of the world. Among the guest speakers at the training is Susan Ye, the Deputy CEO of Tzu Chi Humanitarian Center, who also shared with the volunteers the future direction of the center. She also fondly remembers how Tzu Chi planned to rebuild 51 schools in the aftermath of the 91 earthquake 16 years ago.
I will never forget the master's reply. She said, "I don't know where the money is, but I believe in love. This has been the master's belief for the past 50 years. She believes that people are filled with selfless love, thus continues to strive forward with so many Tzu Chi brothers and sisters by her side."
Hailing from California, Martina Lowe, now 25, immigrated to the United States when she was young. It was when she joined the Tzu Chi Collegiate Youth Club during her university days that she discovered her love of volunteering.
I've discovered many little details of being a Tzu Chi volunteer that I hope I won't forget upon my return to the United States.
More than 400 overseas volunteers have returned to Taiwan in hopes of furthering their enlightenment on the Tzu Chi path and taking home with them wisdom to continue spreading Tzu Chi's mission to more people.
To ensure overseas volunteers get the most fulfilling and unforgettable experiences during the camp, let's see how local volunteers in Taichung have been doing their best to make sure the camp runs smoothly.
At the third 2015 Overseas Volunteers Training Camp, the camp staff in charge of traffic control as well as kitchen volunteers take to the stage to lead sign language songs for a change.
Many camp staff work behind the scene, so the camp attendees cannot thank them. Therefore, we have invited volunteers who take on different duties behind the scene to interact with their overseas counterparts during breaks.
The unsung heroes include the volunteers from Fengyuan District who make snacks with Jin Si food products.
It contains multigrain powder, jute powder, and cocoa powder. There also are mixed nuts in the filling.
I am happy to make the snacks for our overseas brothers and sisters. May they enjoy this and become even healthier.
In addition, there are those who provide simultaneous interpretation for camp attendees who do not understand Chinese. Sometimes they even need to first translate into English translation before translating into a third language. Despite the many challenges, everyone serves with love and dedication. There are also at least 50 media volunteers from central Taiwan who have been documenting the event since the camp attendees' arrival.
他要如何去落实到当地？我回去要准备怎么做？
Zhang Liyun, who took on the job of interview coordinator for the first time, suffered high blood pressure on the first day due to the stress from her work.
我即使没有回来，我在家里我也是。
Even if I did not come back, my heart would remain here. I cannot call it quits. I'm the one who drafted up the schedule, and it would be terrible if I call it quits now.
半途溜掉，那像什么样啊？
So Zhang stays to complete the tasks. The camp staff also created various work areas to make sure the volunteers can carry out different tasks more smoothly.
只要他们有困难，或是说他们的需求，我们都尽量用。
We try our best to fulfill their needs. We present the characteristics and passion of volunteers in Taichung to our overseas brothers and sisters.
台中会呈现的部分来跟海外的师兄师姐来做结缘。
With the media volunteers' hard work, the footprints of these overseas volunteers will be documented as part of Tzu Chi's precious history.
As overseas volunteers returned to Taiwan to take part in the third 2015 Overseas Volunteers Training Camp, the camp's kitchen volunteers made them experience Tzu Chi's spirit of frugality by preparing master's rice dish and salted tofu that were eaten in Tzu Chi's early days.
Under the guidance of a Dharma master, a tofu is cut into 9 pieces and then sliced into 3 thin slices. As the tofu is soft, cutting it requires extreme focus. After the slices are soaked in salt water, they're then pan-fried. This was what Master Zheng Yan and her monastic disciples often ate in Tzu Chi's early days. Meanwhile, some other kitchen volunteers are making master's rice by mixing rice with sauce made with soy sauce and ginger, which is served to those participating in the third Tzu Chi Overseas Volunteers Training Camp, along with salted tofu.
I say it is a sweet reminder of the difficult early days, because it is hard to imagine how Master Zheng Yan sometimes ate rice and tofu for 6 days in a row.
In Tzu Chi's early days, Master Zheng Yan and her monastic disciples, with scarce resources, ate salted tofu and master's rice. The camp attendees thus experienced this spirit of frugality that has become a legacy. In addition to cooking the special food, participants who were interviewed also received the Jing Si aphorism cards.
Let them take some memorable and meaningful gifts with them.
All the small trinkets are full of Tzu Chi's humanistic values. Hopefully, the overseas volunteers will receive the good wishes embedded in these gifts.
Staying in Taichung, Taiwan, we meet some overseas volunteers from Singapore and Germany to see how walking the Bodhisattva path have changed their lives completely. Fighting hard to hold back her tears is Su Shu-ing, who used to study with her sisters in the United States. Unfortunately, one of her sisters passed away in an accident.
She passed away just like that. I felt so bad for her because she must be so lonely. I thought about ending my life to be with her.
Sitting beside Shu-ing is her sister Shu-e, who was sent to the hospital following the accident because a bullet got stuck in her skull.
If I decided to end my life, then what would happen to her? She needed me to care for her.
The Su family's lives were turned upside down when a burglar broke into their home.
I wonder why this had happened to my family. We didn't do any bad. How come we had to face such a tragedy?
Unfortunately, one misfortune led to another. Su Shu-ing later suffered an unhappy marriage. Su Shu-ing, a devoted Buddhist, finally found spiritual support in Tzu Chi. Tzu Chi's determination to walk steadfast on the Tzu Chi path inspired her sister Tzu Chi to close down her more than 2-decade-old restaurant.
We thought about it for a long time because killing animals makes us sad. My daughter, husband, and I all decided to embrace a meat-free lifestyle.
Now both certified Tzu Chi volunteers, the Tzu sisters hope to absorb even more wisdom and spread it far and wide once back in Germany. Always seen with a smile on his face, 55-year-old Li Defu wasn't like this in the past.
He knew that I worked really hard to complete all the household chores, and then he just splashed a whole bottle of cooking oil around the house. He said, "Since you love doing chores, you might as well do them until you die." He even hit me with his fists.
In addition to his other vices, Li also used to abuse his family. However, Li's life began to change after listening to the master's sermon on DaAi TV while on vacation in Taiwan.
The master said that we need to be aware of the karmic cycle. It is impossible that I enjoy life while others suffer. I felt that the master was talking to me directly.
Inspired by the master's words of wisdom, Li Defu decided to pay the local Jing Si Abode a visit upon his return home. Later, Li even made a vow to quit his bad habits and walk the Tzu Chi path.
I used to have a very bad temper, but I didn't realize it until now.
Thanks to Tzu Chi, Li has not only got rid of his bad temper, but also learned to repent for his wrongdoings.
I regret treating her so badly in the past. After I joined Tzu Chi, I learned about the concept of ignorance. I then realized that I was very ignorant and never admitted any wrongdoings.
Now Li Defu and his wife are both certified Tzu Chi volunteers.
I am very proud of him. He's the one that inspired me to walk the Tzu Chi path. I also want to thank the master for bringing my husband back to the family.
给我找到我的师兄，回到这个家庭。
师姐，对不起，我爱你。
On November 18th, volunteers who have come back to Taiwan for the second 2015 Overseas Volunteers Training Session arrived at Hualien's Jing Si Abode. Some of them were wheelchair-bound, but under the company of other volunteers, they felt at ease in their spiritual home.
What special feature do you see in our abode? There's no donation box.
Listening attentively to the Dharma masters, the volunteers come from 6 different countries. For some, their dream of getting certified in Taiwan has finally come true. Huang Zaofat is in his 60s and has mobility problems, yet this does not hinder his steps in walking the Tzu Chi path.
I'm determined and won't give up on any of Tzu Chi's missions.
ATCM doctor from Hong Kong, Tan Sui-ying, has suffered diabetes for 20 years, but she has been serving the poor through free clinics for 11 years. This year, she finally saved up enough money to come back to Taiwan to be certified.
The volunteers have taken good care of me. I feel as if I'm back home, and I'm very happy. It's as if my heart has been purified.
Though the abode is wheelchair-friendly, the disabled volunteers are also each assigned a caretaker. These supporting volunteers who enjoyed moving fast have learned to pace themselves after serving for 6 days.
When we walk, we don't have to walk fast, as taking firm steps is the most important. Just like walking on the path of Bodhisattva, every step we take has to be firm.
Making great vows, these overseas volunteers overcome obstacles in their way and are happy to take on more responsibilities.
Tzu Chi recipient Li顺-ying, who suffers some kidney-related illnesses, lives with her mother. 8 years ago, Tzu Chi volunteer came across Li's case and decided to provide her with monthly subsidies. Touched by the volunteers' endless love and care over the years, recently Li decided to donate her monthly subsidies to help those in greater need. On the first Sunday of every month, Tzu Chi volunteers in Malaysia make sure to pay their care recipient, Li Shun-ying, a visit. With the help of the local media in 1995, Li Shun-ying successfully raised enough money to undergo treatment for her kidney disease. 2 years later, Li's case was referred to Tzu Chi.
At first, I didn't like it when the volunteers visited me. When I sought help through the media, a lot of people gave me a strange look. I was afraid, so I used to shut my doors. I didn't like the Tzu Chi volunteers back then.
However, Li's perception of Tzu Chi started to change after experiencing the volunteers' endless care and witnessing the organization's good work on DaAi TV.
My mother and I are always filled with joy when the volunteers visit us. My mother looks forward to the volunteers' visit. She always asks me if the volunteers are coming tomorrow or not.
It was a bit difficult for us to bond with this family when we first started caring for them, because Li Shun-ying is a devoted Christian and Tzu Chi is a Buddhist organization. Li used to keep her distance. However, she slowly opened up to us after seeing how we interacted with her mother.
Thanks to Tzu Chi, Li Shun-ying has learned to overcome the differences in faith and to help those in greater need.
We don't need Tzu Chi's financial assistance anymore. Sometimes I'll receive a lot of money from kind-hearted people because of the post I publish in the newspaper.
Although no longer a recipient of Tzu Chi's financial aid, in the years to come, Li and her family will continue to look forward to the volunteers' monthly visit. We now take you to the Taichung Animal Shelter to learn what this facility is doing to give animals in the shelters a more comfortable environment and also to draw in more visitors who may potentially adopt these animals.
This room is painted in pink and resembles that of a young girl's room, the way it is decorated, modeled after the way it is done in England. This is actually a room to keep stray cats.
We try to give it more of a familial atmosphere and provide hiding places for these cats.
There is a transparent passageway that connects two rooms, so cats can go back and forth as they please, while people who might want to adopt a cat can observe from the outside.
This way, people can get an idea of how a cat is like at home.
Besides the comfortable cat shelter, dogs that like to go outdoors have their own outdoor field here. Here, trainers of Taichung Animal Shelter teach stray dogs to take commands and interact with people, so they will be more likely to be adopted.
Like weave, sit and down, and if owners want to learn how to train as well, we will show them, such as be encouraging, plus give it a treat occasionally.
On this oval field, dogs can enjoy their time outdoors. There is also a pool for them to take a dip in if it is too hot. Potential dog owners can observe each dog clearly from the sideline.
People can even come in and interact with the dogs on a more personal level. This way, the dogs are more likely to be adopted.
Animal shelters in Taiwan are undergoing a transformation to be more accommodating to the animals' needs. The clean and comfortable setting also draws more visitors. As the Animal Protection Act has been amended and euthanizing strays is being abandoned, the shelter continues to upgrade themselves to show more respect and love to animals.
Next, meet 9-year-old Qian Qian to learn why she remains firm in her decision to go vegetarian.
黄芊芊是今年是在我推社代表，有环保，没有环保就是让地球会坏的咯。这是谁呀？
I kept a vegetarian diet when I was pregnant with her. I hope to dispel people's misunderstandings about vegetarianism and how it's not healthy keeping a vegetarian diet. Since she started school, she's always had perfect attendance. She has never taken a sick day. She even wins medals during her sports day events at school. She really has no problems with her physical health.
你为什么觉得蔬菜好吃，肉不好吃啊？
因为肉很腥。
菜呢？
啊？
菜会什么味道？
很清甜。
When she is invited to tea parties or birthday parties, she will ask what kind of place it will be held at.
比如同学跟你一起，我们去吃麦当劳、肯德基，你会怎么跟他们说呢？
我不要去，我吃素不能吃肉。
She's very careful as she's afraid of accidentally eating meat. Now that she's older, she's able to tell what is vegetarian and what is not.
不可以！
为什么不可以吃？这些糖为什么不能吃？
这些有咖喱。现在的地球已经
The Earth is sick, so if you eat animals, it will further destroy the Earth environment.
破坏地球。那个动物它前面已经有一个洞。
Animals are living beings. If you eat meat, then you have killed.
如果我们拿去杀的话，它还是。
If you purchase meat, then you're in turn asking someone to kill for you, which means both you and the other person have killed.
告诉那个人，那个人就会杀给你吃。
The animal's purpose for living isn't for you to eat it.
它活下来不是让你吃它的。
像有一次，就是一个大人他在吃那个鸡爪。
One time, someone was eating chicken feet, and Qian Qian stared at her eating it. Qian Qian said, "Auntie, why are you eating a hand? Why are you eating a human hand?" Qian Qian had thought the chicken feet looked similar to her own hand. The adult laughed and replied that it was chicken feet. From a child's point of view, she felt that it was something that shouldn't be eaten. She didn't understand how the adult was able to enjoy such a
所
thing.
以你看，从一个孩子那么单纯的心里面，他觉得这是不能吃的，你怎么吃得下？
With one more vegetarian, then it's another person protecting the planet. To promote healthy living, the Tzu Chi University Malacca Continuing Education Center invited a baking instructor to teach teachers and students how to make their own vegetarian burgers using fresh ingredients.
It's good. It tastes just like a real burger. It's no different than a real thing.
Tasty veggie burgers made from fresh ingredients have taken participants of this baking class by surprise.
I am glad I got to taste this. I know what I'm eating has been made from fresh ingredients. It is healthy and safe.
We don't know what additives or artificial ingredients go into the hamburgers we eat in the shops, but this one is completely natural, made from 100% natural ingredients.
If it tastes this good, I believe I can fool my kids too.
A recent statement released by the World Health Organization states that eating too much processed meat such as ham, bacon, and sausage can cause cancer. Hamburgers also included. Hence, this baking class couldn't have come at a better time.
Ingredients for Western vegetarian food are not available in the markets just yet. But as you can see, the vegetarian ingredients we prepared today have been made from fresh produce. You can eat it with peace of mind.
We should eat foods made from natural ingredients. We should stay away from canned foods and vegetarian meats made using additives.
A healthy body begins with healthy eating. Thus, participants go home ready to promote a healthy start in life through a vegetarian diet.
To help students learn how to separate recyclables into the right categories, students of Taipei Municipal Dali High School visited a Tzu Chi recycling station. We'll leave you with these images. Thank you for watching DaAi Headlines. Goodbye.